When considering phenomenal nourishments, most personalities would invoke pictures of cloud cooking, and expound dishes with unpronounceable names. Be that as it may, amazing privileged insights lie covered up in nourishments we eat every day, with captivating logical clarifications behind them. From nuts to organic products, to vegetables, here are 5 bizarre natural phenomena in everyday foods. 1. Brazil nuts. Any individual who has ever had a holder of nuts has unwittingly seen an abnormal impact that no researcher has had the option to completely clarify. In almost every bundle of nuts, the Brazil nuts will show up at the top, with the littler nuts at the base. The equivalent applies to oat, with all the biggest grain at the highest point of the container and only dusty shreds right at the base. Be that as it may, why? Normal information discloses to us that bigger nuts would sink to the base, with littler nuts ascending to the top. All things considered, no one very knows. Named the Brazil nut effect, however more expertly known as granular convection, this marvels has befuddled specialists for a considerable length of time. The idea alludes to when different bits of little, comparative mass articles turn in a path like how liquids move, the procedure a bundle of nuts experiences to get from the industrial facility to the hands of a shopper requires bunches of jostling. When the nuts are completely pushed upward, the littler ones will fall beneath the bigger ones, pushing them upward. This will rehash in a cycle on the grounds that the nuts are consistently shaken around. In any case, the Brazil nut effect gives a slight wrinkle to this rationale. It couldn't be any more obvious. The Brazil nuts will arrive at the highest point of the compartment and simply remain there, in this manner finishing the cycle. Researchers aren't sure why they can't move from their situation on top. Obviously, numerous speculations have been introduced. Maybe the nuts are too enormous to fit into any littler spaces in the compartment after that shake, or maybe the thickness of the nuts assume a job in pushing it towards the surface. In any case, the science has applications past this nutty problem, get it? Dr. Douglas J. Gerolmack and his group have even discovered a connection between this marvel and the motivation behind why streams can oppose disintegration, since waterways also have bigger shakes close to the top with sand and rock further down in the river. 2. Corn. Corn has been around for a great many years, yet few understand that each ear of corn has a one-of-a-kind likeness about it. It couldn't be any more obvious. Corn will consistently have a significantly number of columns. This is because of the way that a corn ear isn't only a vegetable, however an inflorescence, implying that it delivers almost 1,000 female blossoms. These blossoms, also called the future parts, will be requested into columns, shaping the regular picture of an ear of corn. A normal ear of corn has 800 portions, sorted out into 16 lines. The considerably number originates from the way that every spikelet, fundamental grass blossom, will create 2 florets, which are the little blossoms that make up a full bloom head. It will create 2 since one floret must be fruitful while the other must be sterile. Strikingly, this applies to nourishments other than corn. Watermelon, for instance, as far as anyone knows has a reliably significantly number of stripes. Regardless of the case, this stems, no play on words planned, from the way that a cell will consistently partition into 2 cells that thusly each gap into 2 additional cells. As this cycle proceeds, the number will consistently remain even. How odd. 3. Pistachios. Pistachios may seem innocent enough, but little did we know that they have a sinister side. That's because pistachios, when stored in large quantities, are at high risk of spontaneously combusting. It is a known fact that fat burns very easily, and each pistachio nut is nearly 50% fat. Furthermore, pistachios have almost no water in them, and if they are kept in a high moisture area, then they become moldy. With their total absence of water and a high concentration of fat, pistachios are at risk of becoming flammable. This risk turns into reality when pistachios are packed close together in large amounts, as the oils of the nuts can heat themselves up, causing them to burst into flames. Because they can self-heat, this pistachio-fueled nightmare can occur with no warning, with no human contact. This has led to many strict guidelines as to how pistachios are shipped, as most of the world pistachio production comes from the Middle East. This means that ships are required for transport, and nobody wants to see a boat burn down from improperly packaged nuts. 4. Nutmeg. Nutmeg is a zest most generally utilized around the special seasons, as a sweet enhancement to drinks or a fixing in pastries. Be that as it may, much the same as the pistachio, there is a dim mystery behind this happy flavor. This is on the grounds that nutmeg is actually a psychedelic drug, equipped for causing groundbreaking highs and undesirable symptoms. Unexpected eruptions of frenzy, inconvenience peeing, and continually dry mouth are only a couple of outcomes of the stimulating outing. Nutmeg itself is really a seed, and it contains a compound known as myristicin. Myristicin is utilized in numerous medications that are utilized to influence mental state, and it is the motivation behind why nutmeg produces stimulating effects. Though this may stun we all, it wouldn't have amazed anybody in 12th century Europe. In those days, it was viewed as a medication instead of a trimming, and individuals would utilize it much of the time so as to incite mental trips. It is even accepted that celebrated Dr. Nostradamus ingested nutmeg so as to pick up dreams that prompted his logical disclosures. Nutmeg stayed a well-known medication for a considerable length of time to come, yet incidentally its status moved into the blameless zest we know it as today. 5. Chili peppers. With a quarter of the world's population eating chili peppers on a daily basis, it is clear that many people enjoy the jolt of spiciness that has become the trademark of these peppers. While people around the world have chosen to embrace the chili pepper and feel the burn, few people have stopped to wonder the cause of this sensation in the first place. All chili peppers contain an active ingredient called capsaicin, which activates the heat-sensing protein in our brains when bitten into. When the protein senses heat, it causes the brain to send a shot of burning pain to the pepper eater. This means that peppers are tricking our brains into feeling a burning sensation since we will not actually be burned from eating a pepper. Scientists have determined that pepper plants actually evolved this way in order to keep predators from eating their fruit. Interestingly, birds do not feel any burn when eating peppers, and peppers actually evolved this way on purpose. This is because unlike mammals, birds eat pepper seeds whole, so when they excrete these seeds, they spread the pepper plant and ensure its survival.